guard, and TRL Limitless taking advantage as well, as they're going to be side by side into turn 9 now. Limitless with the inside line. Strees running very wide at the exit of the corner. TRL Limitless up into 5th now, from 8th down to 10th and back up to 5th in the space of less than 2. Again, we can see there's actually 3 cars now kind of at the back, joining 2 of them joining Rosberg. So Stu navigating his way through the final corner to finish the 2nd lap of the race, start lap number 3.
Big mistake from Martin.
Yeah, Martin is off at turn 1. That is almost certainly going to lose him a position. Yeah, here comes the car on the right-hand side. It is the Haas of Limitless, now up into 4th position. And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier, Maddie, is the experience that Limitless has is just going to see him move right up the field. So, as you mentioned earlier, extremely respectful. Dizzy Cupid goes right off the circuit, though, at turn 9. That's going to let Sayaryu get a great run out of turn number 10. Yeah, he's going to go flying by. Limitless goes flying by up into a podium position after dropping down to 10th. Dropped from 1st all the way down into 4th position. Sayaryu running a little bit wide there. Limitless is going to get a great run out of that corner. He's going to shoot up the inside of turn 14 there and grab 2nd position. That's 8 positions gained in 7 laps for TRL Limitless, and you know that's a champion's drive for sure. Everybody seems on top of it.
I think these guys have lost a bit of time, to be honest. Limitless coming out now, and Martin, is he going to get in front of Limitless going into turn 1? He's got very warm intermediates compared to Limitless, who's just put it on. He won't really know exactly the conditions. As you can see, he loses the back end through turn 2. Martin now going to go to the racing line, the outside line down towards turn 3. Who is going to be the more brave on the brakes? It looks like Limitless, actually, but can he get it slowed down? He can indeed. So Martin will have to follow Limitless now through these next couple of corners, because they're really
59%, 60%, all the way up to 62% on some people, as Limitless makes the dive into turn 3 on Sayaryu. A little bit of contact between them. Dizzy Cupid's going to try and make it 3 wide. Thinks better of it. Limitless going to go around the outside at turn 4. He'll get the inside line for turn 5. Cupid's going to multiple occasions. Limitless once again just braking very, very late into turn 1 there. Dizzy with a much better run, though, through turn 2. Much better exit out of turn 1. Tucks into the slipstream, moves to the left-hand side. Once again, Limitless is going to defend the inside line into turn number 3. Is he going to get it all slowed down in time? Yes, he is. Dizzy's going to try and go around the outside. He's done that very well, actually. He's going to get the inside line for turn 4. There's contact between them, though. Yeah, and I think Limitless is entitled.
That's the kind of gamble that he's made, and this is Martin coming into the pits now. I believe Limitless has carried on for another lap, so Limitless starting to now on board with Dizzy Cupid. He's going to be taking Limitless's position.
Is that Limitless in the pits?
Yeah, that's Limitless in the pits now. Not taking his position, sorry. He was ahead, but he is going to be miles ahead of Limitless. Limitless has made a huge error here. He must have seen on his mini-map. That's Limitless there in 2nd, isn't it? Yeah, it is, yes. So Limitless going to actually lose a position to Sayaryu and Martin, I think, as well. Oh. So Limitless, a huge error on his part. I mean, the fact that everyone's dived into the pits 2 laps before he's come in, surely that's going to be ringing some bells.
Yeah. I think he made. I mean, if he had stayed out, actually, I think that would have been a better call than coming in at the end of lap.
Yo, JD here, TRL Limitless, and as you can see, as I say every single video, we are back with league racing, and this is a video I wanted to make for such a long time now. It's felt like a millennium since I've actually made the last time I did a league race video, and as you can see from the start of this, I didn't actually have any footage from round 1 Australia this season, unfortunately, which I was really gutted about because it was a really exciting race, but I didn't actually have my PC at the time because my PC has been a little bit unwell recently, so I had to actually send it back to make some repairs, and I've got it back again. But you may notice as well, no qualifying lap here, and for some reason my footage just doesn't it only showed like 11 minutes or something like that, so I don't know what was going on there, but when I cut it, I could actually do the rest of the race if I split it into little sections. So that's something I'm going to definitely have to sort out for my next round, because I really want to get the full race. But to be honest, you can see we're in 6th place in this qualifying. The lap wasn't good, which is very, very frustrating, because I felt very confident coming into this race. And last race was straight as well, felt very, very confident for that, but I made the mistake of not practicing on the super soft. I was running a soft strategy, but it actually turned out to be raining for the race, so that meant I had to go on super softs, and I kind of bottled my lap. And for this one, just not a great lap really, to be honest. Just didn't really put it together. And you could see, I think you could see at the start of this as well, I think we actually ran the wrong setup here. I was running 7.6 wings rather than what I was actually using my hot lap videos of 5.4, which I actually was practicing with, which was still really quick. But I felt when I got behind people with 7.6, I could really stick with them a lot easier. So this race was pretty much gambling on me staying behind someone. If I'm in clear air or clear air trying to catch someone, it's going to be quite difficult. But when the tyres go off, then the higher wings really do help quite a bit in gaining the speed and just minimising the tyre wear as well. So that's what I was really gaining on for this race. But you'll be able to see throughout this, quite an action-packed race. But if I could go back, I probably would have changed the setup to about a 5.4, 4.3 wing if I could have actually gone back. So you can see now, formation lap. Notice I'm not actually warming up the tyres, and that's because you just get more tyre wear. So you really want to take it as slow as possible. I see some people weaving, and all that does really is actually just wear your tyres out. It doesn't really help to warm up or anything. Not too much, or for me anyway, it doesn't really seem to make much difference in grip at the start of the race. So that's a little thing I do, just try and drift around as slow as possible. You can see now we've got 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're about to get underway in round 2 of AOR around Bahrain here today. A good track of mine, a track I do enjoy. Struggle a little bit of pace, but the consistency is normally very kind to me here. So you can see maintaining our 6th place at the moment. We've got Ciaru in front of us, going in deep, the people a little bit in front of us. So we're going to go around the outside of RS Falcon, if I can believe I can say it correctly. So we're actually up into 5th place. So we've made a position at start, and this is perfect at the moment. This is exactly what we need. We need the leaders to really be battling. When their tyres go off, that's really when we'll be capitalising on this. And you can see Martin, my good friend of mine, in 3rd position here. He's the guy I really did not want to get away in this race. So I'm quite happy that he's in 3rd place. But we're going to try and make noise. So go down the inside of Ciaru here to really want to get behind Martin as quick as possible. Try not to do the same position behind. But you know Ciaru, another very good driver, fairly new to this league anyway. But I've known him from previous years anyway. He's a very good driver in this. And all the drivers in this field are very good drivers. This season could possibly be the most competitive I've ever seen, because some of the drivers in here, I'd say there's about 5 to 7 drivers that can win a race in this season, and you don't really get that too often in any league, to be honest. So you can see now the leader, I believe, is Flying Finn, who actually won the first race, so credit to him. He drove absolutely superb there, really, really good in the wet. So he's in the Williams. So we can't afford to let these guys beat us this race, really, especially Flying Finn after getting that win. And me kind of throwing away really a podium. I'm saying maybe a 2nd place was in the cars last race. Dizzy Cupid probably would have got the 2nd place, but I reckon a 3rd was a pretty on the cards, a pretty comfortable 3rd place. We just threw it away because we just didn't really know the strategy last race. Last race, all I ever did was practice in the dry. That was my first time in the wet round there, apart from when I did my hot lap video. Did no practice in the wet and didn't actually go on the intermediates at all on this game so far. I don't think I've ever been on the intermediates. And then the track dried out, which I haven't actually done in this game as well. So nice list of excuses there, but that's the honest truth. I just wasn't prepared for that race, and that really shows that this season it's not all about your raw speed. You've got to be really, really patient and consistent in this game. And you can see we're going to go down the outside of 2 cars into here. So we've actually gone into 3rd place, so 5th to 3rd in 2 corners, and that is absolutely crucial. That is what we needed so badly. And now we've actually got Martin in 2nd place, so I was really hoping at this point that the guys in front would really start battling. But we're using 7.6 wings, and if we look behind us now, you can see Ciara is actually gaining on us, even not in the slipstream. So we're really going to be a sitting duck on the straights here. As you can see, Lee's a little bit ahead of us, but we've got Ciara behind us. Hopefully he doesn't overtake us, and that's what I was really really hoping on that we could, in a sense, actually work together. We can't talk to each other because I'm in my own party at this time, but ideally, you know, when you're racing someone, if you want to work together or someone, I can see we're visibly actually catching, so we're actually catching the leaders now. They're having a little bit of a squabble, got a little bit of a gap behind Ciara now, and you can see again Martin doing this little traditional weaving in and out that he really likes to do. You can really visually see we're actually gaining on this pair, so if they keep battling, we'll go catch them. And I can see now Ciara, he's running quite a low wing setting compared to me, and he's going to overtake me on the straight now. And I really didn't want this. I really just didn't want him to overtake me, because I thought we could really, especially if in the midfield, the wing I was using, really just to try and catch the leads. And I thought we could really have a good chance of that. And now here, this is a really crucial point to make in the race. I think this is a mistake of what I'm doing here now. So going down the inside, we're actually starting to battle with Ciara. And I think that's because I just got overtaken, and my instinct is to, whenever I got overtaken, it's just to do someone back straight away. But this just wasn't really that smart in this sense. And we're going to go down the inside of Ciara again. So now we're just costing each other time. And again, if I could go back for this, I probably would have just let him go, stay behind him, because I know he's got the pace to catch the guys in front. And I think it was just me thinking that I could have done a better job actually catching the guys ahead, which is the reason why I wanted to get back in front of him again and just try and show him that I didn't want him to overtake me. But this is racing, you know, he's not my teammate or anything. He can do exactly what he wants. So we actually cost ourselves a little bit of time here now, and you can see the lead is starting to spread out a little bit now as well. So that's really not what we wanted, but we've got a nice little buffer to Wycombes behind in the Force India. So 4th place at this moment, but we really got to capitalise in this race, because the points, you know, we got a 5th place last race, and I was actually quite happy after the race, considering, because I just hadn't done the wet or anything before in the race. I was actually quite happy considering how quickly I adapted to it. But in a sense, normally I would never be happy with a 5th place. So now we've really got to start hitting the podiums. We've got to be consistent this season, because the drivers in here are really going to punish you if you just don't know the strategy, don't know the weather conditions, how they're going to react to the car, or what pit stop to pit on. It's really are going to punish you. So I say quite a lot of this season, really just got to do your homework before the race and actually sweat quite a bit before the race. As you can see, a car in front of us now, I think that's actually Martin in the Mercedes, actually going out wide. You can see now the leaders are just in sight. So we're in DRS, got a nice little gap behind us now, and this is perfect at the moment. You know, got Flying Thing a little bit out in front, but I was more concerned about Martin this race, because I've been practicing with him. He's the guy I practice with. He's very quick around here. I'd say it's probably one of his best tracks on this game, and we're going to follow him into pit. So I wanted to get an undercut on the guys ahead to try and nail this pit entry, which again, it's something you need to practice, because you can gain probably like half a second sometimes at times, just through going faster into the pits. It's crazy. So this game is really not so much about your raw speed anymore. It's about so many other factors that you really need to practice. But we're coming out just behind Martin now, and this is absolutely crucial. We've got to stay in his DRS. If we don't stay in his DRS, I can see it's pretty much been game over, because I know his race pace, and I know the setup he's using, or the wings he was using anyway, is definitely a bit lower than mine. So if he can get in some clear air and we can't hang on to him in DRS, he's going to get away at the first beginning start of the stint, and it's pretty much game over, because you know how consistent he is. He's an AOR champion in season 10. I don't need to tell you that, so you know how good he is. So we're staying with Martin at the moment, really pushing hard just to stay with him. And there's actually a car in front, and we don't know what is happening here. I think it's a ghost car, but no, it's actually Flying Finn. He's actually got a puncture. So he has got a puncture at the end of lap 6, and I actually had a puncture at the end of lap 7. So that just shows how hard he was actually pushing for him to slide in the car quite a bit. And that's again in this game that you really got to take care of your tyres. It's all good really trying to thrash the car around to just get the maximum pace, but if you don't look after your tyres, you can get a puncture, and you don't even need to hit 100% on the tyre levels. You can just get a puncture at like 80 or sometimes even 70-ish% if you do a massive lockup or so. So right now we really just got to take care of our tyres, and you can see Martin is out on the lead now, or out in net first, I'd say. Managed to get past Cyril Rosberg, who's out on a medium set of tyres, starting on that there. So we're in net second at the moment, and right now, of course, I'm going to try and go for the win, but realistically, seeing the pace that he's got, that's pretty much out of the question at the moment. So we really just got to focus on trying to get second, trying to get up as many points as possible, because you can see by now the wing setting we've got here is is not good. It's probably quite a big mistake, and that's costing me too much time down the straights. It's good for the infill section, so the twisty sections is really good, but down the straights in the race, especially when the fuel wears off, we were really struggling here, and it was just not a great race. And by my standards, me driving wise, I just wasn't really happy with how consistent I was being and how I was driving. Because in practice of these settings, it was looking very good, really strong. But just having a poor qualifying and just not really driving well today, which is something I don't feel I can say too often. Normally I do drive, I feel pretty good most of the time, but today it's just one of those days where it just it's not really happening for me. But still, despite saying that, we're still in a podium position, despite starting 6th, and now in a net 3rd. And hopefully we can undercut Ciara. We've got Wycombe's out behind us, and it's crucial we get away from his DRS as well, because he's not a slow guy. He's someone came from the PC, one of the best guys on the PC. So we can't take these guys lightly at all. So Ciara is actually come out ahead of us now, and he's on a soft tyre. So if we've got any chance of staying ahead of him for 2nd place in this race, then we've really just got to latch onto his DRS as quick as possible. Martin, I believe, pitted a lap earlier before me, so he's probably got about a 2-second or 3-second undercut, but his tyres could run the risk of actually getting a puncture at the end, because it's very close to the limit of what you can do on these tyres, a certain number of laps. So you can see through here, you can just see his setup. It's really good through here, but down the straights, it's just not quick enough at all. Like, I can only just stay with the people on the straights, and as soon as someone gets behind me on the straight, it's a pretty simple overtaking move down the straight. So you can see coming up here, got pretty good traction DRS, but you can see, let's see how much time we actually gain in this. You can see nothing. We don't gain any time down here, and yeah, it's just a lesson to be learnt really of just around these kind of tracks. It's just sometimes the straight line speed is definitely better, and I should have just gone back to my old setup or what I actually did. I changed quite a few things for this race, feeling that it felt good at the time because I was struggling to tyre wear quite a bit, but actually everyone was struggling to tyre wear quite a bit. So in future, just really got to go with my gut instinct rather than change the setup about half an hour before the race. But you can see Ciara is actually getting held up now by not a lapped car, but that's Mike Marshmallow, who's actually a new guy to this league now. Someone dropped out in the Sauber last race, so he's getting a little bit held up by him. He's on a different strategy, so he's not really in our race at all. So I'm pretty sure he's going to have to stop again. So you can see his tyre's gone off, and now this is really crucial. Not to get on the back of Ciara, but just not to allow that gap behind us to Wycombe's to get any shorter, because if he can get anywhere near our DRS, it's going to be a walk in the park for him to actually overtake us. And now it's crucial that we get past this guy as quick as possible. So go around here. You can see the downforce working pretty nicely. The Haas has got really good turns. So go down the inside, and I was hoping this would be a fairly comfortable move, but he's actually got better traction than us round the outside. So again, we're side by side, and again, this is just costing us time at the moment. He's perfectly entitled to do what he wanted to do, as much as at the time I was pretty much probably screaming him to get out of the way, but he's doing absolutely nothing wrong. He's perfectly entitled to do what he wants to do. So we'll go down the inside again, and hopefully, but this is taking quite a few risks here actually. We just don't really need to do this at the moment, and that's me going back to saying that this race wasn't really a smart race, but we've got to go down the inside. I made quite a big contact with Marshmallow there, and anything could have happened there. We could have spun off into the barrier, and that could have been our 3rd place, pretty much destroyed. No chance to get in the podium here, but we're going to just wait now, and now just try and calm down a little bit and try and get him on the straights. Should be quite an easy pass, but he's actually going to go into the pit lane now. Ciara sets the fast lap on the soft tyres, so the soft tyres are just way superior than the mediums at this point, and right now it is just securing that 3rd place. If we can get a podium around here, despite how I felt I've actually drove, and then qualifying 6th place as well, I would say that's a pretty good result considering that of how I felt I've been driving throughout this race now. So we're going to move on hopefully to the next few laps. So you can see here the car's pretty good for the high speed corners, but you can see we actually made a mistake. As I say that, we just made another lapse of concentration, and that's just a cherry on the cake really. It just sums it up in a nutshell. Just not driving with real consistency around here, which is something I've done pretty well. I've won here twice in AOR. It's all about consistency, so something I definitely need to fix definitely for next race. You can see here lap 27, 2 laps to go now, and Wycombs has actually caught up to us as well. So he got in the DRS with him just being quick as well. He's managed to get in a DRS, and this should be a very easy pass. So we're going to go into lean mix for this, and we're just going to let him pass because it's last lap, last race. Or next lap is the last lap. So we're just going to literally pull over and let him through. And I think we both knew what we were trying to do here, because I don't think any of us, or neither of us, really wanted to let the car through for this on this occasion, because we knew on the last lap we would actually just slipstream someone down straight. So that's my first piece of pretty much smart driving actually in this race. So we're in 4th place, so we're still not secured yet. We're actually out of the podium position, and we've still got a little bit of a gap behind us. We've got quite a big gap behind us actually to Stu, so I think he's had a few problems this race. But now we've just got to stick with Wycombs for this and just try not to lose the car. If we lost the car here now, then that would just be an absolute disaster for the end of the race. So coming on here, and he's got a pretty poor exit, but we're just going to keep it in stand. No point going to Rich for this. Absolutely no point at all. We're not going to do an overtake here because he'll just get back on the main straight. It's a nice easy overtake. Just really try and follow him into these corners now. And yeah, at this point I was just thinking, just really just need to secure this podium and just damage limitation, because in the first race of Australia season I drove really well, the pace was really, really good, but just didn't do the right strategy. Whereas here today, the strategy was okay, but we just didn't drive well at all. Just really did not drive well. So coming off this last corner, trying to get a good exit, but he actually gets a much better exit than us. And he's going to go to the right hand side, making one defensive move. And you can see here, it's quite a struggle for me to get past someone, and that's because the wing I was using is particularly hard. But we're going to go out around the outside, brake really, really late, try and make the apex as much as possible into lean mix, just to get that traction out onto the last corner, out of the first corner. And that is us into 3rd place now. So hopefully we can stay ahead of him for the rest of this lap, and we'll be moving on to the end now. And we can see we've managed to come in 3rd place for this race, and yeah, I was okay, pretty well, reasonably happy. Obviously I always want to try and win the race, but there's not really too much you could do. Tyrrell Martin fully deserved this race. Absolutely stunning drive from him. He's pretty much a specialist around here. So a really great drive from him. And Ciara as well, just getting the strategy right, qualifying high up the field, just did everything he needed to do. So reasonably happy with that, but always felt there was a little bit more left in tank. And just with the different setup and driving as well, who knows what could have happened on the day. But it's China next race now, a track I'm really, really looking forward to, and hopefully you've enjoyed this video for league racing being back again. It's been really, really good. So thank you so much for the support recently. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.